when it comes to real estate, one of the big things that you start looking at is, especially in the market we're in today, the market today is so fast and so aggressive that you have to have somebody that works for you full time. Because if you've got somebody that's part-time and a house comes on the market, you've got to go now. You've got to see it now, put the offer in now. If you're going to compete in the market, you have to do that. So having a full-time person, an agent, is really important, and I bring that to the table. I always tell my wife that I can sleep at sometime else, so let's get it done now. But I bring a full hardcore sales background to it. I'm not quite that used car salesman, but I know how to get things done. I know how to negotiate. And then the other thing that really separates me from everything else is I've got a marketing background. I've got real world marketing experience. And so I know how to write things up. I know how to get things done, how to advertise them and where. You need a local specialist. And when you get down to, especially down in South County, I had a big luxury house in Woodland Hills. Let's just use a real example. as agents would come in and show the house, I would ask them if they were familiar with Woodland Hills. Everybody always told me yes, and so I'd start asking questions. And like Woodland Hills is all on septic systems. And so is your realtor, do they know that? Are they familiar with septic systems? Do they know how often they need to be flushed? As you go a little bit further west, out into the farm fields, if you will, you start dealing with water rights, wells. There's places that have artesian springs in them, which are awesome. But you've got to know all that stuff. And then, especially in today's environment with the growth and the high growth, you've got to know where that growth is going. Because if somebody doesn't know where the growth is going, they can't help you get into the right position to really maximize the profitability of your house and the value of your house as it goes up. One of the best stories that I tell is I think I'm the only realtor that's ever come face to face with a cougar, and not an older lady. I mean a actual cougar. I was helping a gentleman we were looking at a house that he was going to flip. The house was a hoarder's house. It was nasty inside. So as we're walking around, you can see there was literally mouse droppings and cat and dog and I mean just all kinds of nasties in the house. It was dark, so I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna go check out the garage. So I go out into the garage, I got my flashlight, I'm down scanning the ground and look, because I'm worried about mice. And as we get about halfway into that, the hair on my neck just stands up. And I was like, oh man. So I'm running through my head, whether, is it a raccoon? Is it a possum? What is it? And as I bring my flashlight up about 4 feet from me, eye to eye, I hit the face of a cougar. And it scared me to death. As I backed up and actually started to see it, it was actually a taxidermy cougar that the guy had put on a shelf, but it was eye to eye, nose to nose, and I'll tell you what, it makes you think twice and step quick. To me, I would tell you that to do what you would normally do. In today's market, it is fast, it is aggressive, but you need to do what's right for you. If your kids are all gone and you've got to downsize, then let's do it. It can be done, but it's got to be done by somebody aggressive, somebody that'll work hard for you, and somebody that's fast. So do what you're going to do. The market's not going to change. We get that question all the time about, well, is this the same bubble that we had in '08? It's not. This is a supply and demand thing. That we've got a lot of demand and no supply. So we can still make it happen, but it needs to do what you do. To do your due diligence ahead of time, in the fact that you really zone in and zoom in on where you want to be, what location, what are the things that are really set you, and what are the things that you want? The location, what kind of a kitchen, living arrangements, master bedroom, or on the main level. I mean, what are the things that really trigger you? Because to sit and just kind of wander and look and have a realtor take you and be a tour guide for you just really isn't going to help you. Because by the time you figure out that, well, remember the one we saw 4 or 5 days ago, let's talk about putting an offer in on that one, it's going to be gone. And so the more you can kind of figure out what you want, where you want to be, views, mountains, school system, whatever, new, old, the more you can figure out, the better you're going to be. COVID has impacted in the fact that it's made everybody a little bit more cautious. Doing an open house, you've got your hand sanitizer, everybody's masked. It makes it, from a real estate standpoint, makes it a little harder to read people's interest in their facial expressions and things to see if they really like it or not. But it's just made everybody be a little bit more cautious. It hasn't stopped the market. and it hasn't stopped people showing and selling houses and buying houses, but it just made everybody a little more cautious.